Hey folks, here we are at the end of another great year. 2023 was absolutely amazing for me. Some things I'm excited and happy about, and some things I'm not so happy about. Uh, Professionally, I've had one of the busiest years doing live caricatures events that probably since I've been doing this. As I tell people all the time, I've stopped trying to predict anything because depending on who you talk to, some people say the economy's in the garbage, other people say it's not. I can't speak to that because I don't know. All I can go off is how my business has been. I will say this, I've done a lot more corporate stuff this year and not so much individual. So it's kind of weird. I kind of feel like caricature artists and maybe entertainers in general, I don't know if it's the art part or if it's the entertainer part, but I feel like we kind of operate in this little weird gray area of society where we touch so many different aspects and so many different parts of society that no matter what's going on in the world, unless it's like a global pandemic, we find a way to prosper. It's like I said, this year has been less individual stuff and more corporate. And a few years ago it was the complete opposite. So I mean, I've done good. Now the downside to that is, as I said a couple years ago and even last year, that how I've started this shift and this focus toward the dog art, and how I would like that to be my ultimate thing as I move into my golden years. As I said, I don't know, or did I say I just turned 50? So my plan of action is to do the caricatures, the live events for about 10 to 15 more years tops, and that would put me up to about 65 years old, knock on wood, no health problems, and I make it that long, and then start dialing it back. And because I'm getting older, the travel will start wearing on me more and more as I get older. So to do that slow shift away from caricature artist to full-time pet artist. Well, this year was disappointing for me because I only did 2 commissions, and they were small commissions. So I always have to take a self-assessment of that, as to because you always have to be willing to say, okay, is my work good enough? Am I charging an appropriate price for what I offer? And is there a market for it? And I feel like maybe I pulled the trigger a little bit too much. Maybe I raised my rates too quickly. So I'm going to dial those back a little bit. Not going to dial them back to dirt cheap, but just a little bit. Just shave it back a little bit and just see what that does for me moving forward. And it may just be a matter of the economy for the individual was bad this year and people just couldn't afford that type of stuff. So, and as always, strive to become better at what I'm doing. As an artist, you're always trying to become better. Don't want to stagnate. Don't want to say, "Oh, I'm good enough." So that as well. And not to stay on this subject too long, but there's a lot of wonderful dog artists out there, and that I realized. When I first got into it, I was like, okay, because I've seen a lot of them, and some of them aren't so great. But there are some really good ones out there, and that's what I've tried to gauge my pricing and everything towards. But I feel like maybe I do have a decent following, but maybe not as much as I thought I did. So I'm gonna just make some adjustments and see what that does for me going into 2024. Caricature wise, can't say I'm going to be doing a whole lot differently with that. I'm just going to continue to market myself. I am planning to launch a couple of new websites in 2024. I'm going to try to expand and become more of a booking agent, because I have found myself with the added amount of revenue and business that's been coming, I've been finding myself more and more as the lead guy that's booking these other artists, and I really don't get anything for that. Now, given a lot of these guys are my friends, so we've never worried about taking commissions from each other in that aspect, and I never will, because we give each other work. But moving forward, if I am going to become more of an agent type role, maybe not with my lifelong friends, but with any other artist that I book, which I may book. I'll have to, set it up where I can make some money for my efforts doing that. And the other thing I'm going to launch in 2024 is an artist directory, which I will offer different tiers depending on how nice of an ad they want to put on there. So no, I'm not going to give you guys the name or anything yet, because I think I have the name nailed down, but just look for that later on. That should be launching soon. An artist directory, and then I'm also going to become a somewhat of a local agent for caricature artists. Don't want to mess with the national market, because there's plenty of guys that already do that, and I just want to worry about here in the Carolinas. I will tell you this, that's probably going to be called Carolina Caricature. I'm probably going to use that name that I've already established and use that to promote as a local agent. Still working out all the details of how that's going to look. I've got to form an LLC and all that fun stuff. So, and on a personal note, in 2024, I am trying to get back to being more health conscious. I was doing really good a couple years ago, fell off the wagon, and professionally I've been doing great, but personally I haven't been doing so great. I've been gotten lazy, gotten put on some weight, and time to get that back off. Time to get back to the doctor, get a checkup, and all that fun stuff. I finally were able to get back on the market and get some health insurance. So try to take better care of myself. So that pretty much sums up 2023 for me. It's been a year. Extremely happy with my revenue that I've brought in. I'm extremely happy with that. But as I've said, I'm not so happy with what has not happened with the dog art, because I always feel like everything in life is a balancing act. I don't do this just for the money. I do this mainly for the love of the art. The money is a side effect, and the money, making a lot of money doesn't make me happy. What makes me happy is whenever I'm connecting with people love my art, and it's something that they're going to cherish and they're going to keep. And of course I got to pay my bills. I mean, that's just the nature of life. But that's not my focus. It never has been there. Well, I guess actually it did used to be years ago, but not anymore. I'm focused on leaving a legacy and leaving something behind when I leave this world that's gonna leave it better than I found it. So with all that being said, my wife and I were just discussing the other day what our plans are for 2024, and I think our keyword's going to be level up. So we're each trying to level up. My wife's leveling up her career, and I'm trying to level up mine as well. Well, I hope you guys have had a great year. In closing, as always, I probably should have said it at the onset, thank you very much for everyone who supports me and cheers me on and just wants to see me succeed. I like to do the same for other artists as well, and individuals also. And I hope you guys have a very blessed holiday season. Be safe. Give all your family members a big hug and tell them you love them. See you guys in 2024.